Today we are speaking to Janette, who is our IELTS hero. Janette has gone through the challenges, the struggles of studying and preparing for the IELTS exam, the English exam. And today she is going to be sharing her insights, her wisdom, her advice with everybody who's watching. Janette, before we speak about the IELTS, tell us a little bit about yourself and your history of being a nurse.
Okay. Hi, guys. I'm Janette from the Philippines, and I've been in the healthcare industry for the past 2 decades. And it's actually 23 years to be exact. I was then a respiratory therapist for 10 years. Subsequently, I changed my career as a staff nurse, and I've been a nurse for the past 12 plus years. And I've been working here, I think, 11 plus years here in Singapore, assigned in coronary care unit. And I'm living with my husband and my son here for the past 13 years here in Singapore.
Okay. And Janette, tell us about your American dream. Who or what inspired you to come to America?
To be honest, actually, when I was still a child, it's actually my dream to live in the US. And it's like, when I was younger, it's like, I don't know when and how I will reach that goal. But as time goes by, I think God is pushing me the path to go there. So maybe that's the reason why I'm pushing hard and working hard to push through my American dream.
Yeah, it's not an easy journey, right?
Yes.
It's not an easy journey. It takes a lot of time, effort, money, expense to try and get to the US to pass the NCLEX exam as well as the IELTS exam. And it's not an easy journey. So you really have to have that goal in mind. When you think back to when you were a child, Janette, what was it about the US? Do you have any memories about like what you thought about the US, what your life would be like in the US?
Yeah, actually, when I was a child, I used to do the pretend play, and find myself playing as a doctor or any type of medical profession that used to wear a white uniform. And during that time, I always have my siblings playing with me. And as time goes by, I feel like I'm going to be in a healthcare profession. It's just my first love was being a respiratory therapist. But during my 6th year as a RT, I realized that nursing is a noble job. So I tried myself to think about if I'm going to push through another career, which is nursing. So I've become a working student during that time. Nighttime, I will work as a RT, and in the morning, I will straight to school to take nursing studies. And it took me 3 years to finish it. And I'm very happy because I changed career, not to the fact that I don't like my first job. It's just I have an advantage to be a nurse because being an RT plus a nurse is a big part of being a professional in a healthcare industry. So I think, that's my perspective in life.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. And I think just the fact that you have shown such hard work and dedication in getting to where you are today is very inspirational for many people who are watching. Tell us about your experience with the IELTS, because so many nurses, and I know this because we worked with nurses for many, many years, have got many challenges in coming to the US. The NCLEX is obviously one of them, but somehow I think many nurses actually feel like the IELTS, the English exam, is somehow more challenging. Was that your experience, or was it the other way around? Was the NCLEX more experience? Was more challenging?
Well, actually, the NCLEX is definitely hard, but I find IELTS uniquely different in such a way that NCLEX, I need to learn a lot of like pathophysiology, anatomy, all this things that we learn from school. Compared to IELTS, it's like I'm going to be asked by the examiner anything under the sun. So it's like I need to really prepare myself in order for me to go to the examination. So I need to have this strategy that I will make sure that I will take this examination once only. And that's my principles in life, to be a hardworking person. And if I have an examination, I make sure I will take it once. But during the IELTS preparation, it seems like it's really very overwhelming, because aside from being a full-time mom and working full-time in the hospital, it's very exhausting, especially in this pandemic. So I think it took me months to see what type of style that I'm going to do, because the first few months I wasn't able to really prepare for the IELTS, because I actually started joining Swiss English around, I think, February, but I was unable to really focus on practicing, especially on the other subtests like listening, reading, and writing. But I already managed to join the Swiss speaking practice every week. So I think it took me 2 months to really see what strategy that I'm going to do. And yeah, so it took me 2 months to prepare what are the things that I need to work on, especially in writing, because writing, I'm not that good in doing an essay. So what I did during the time is I bought a small notebook where I need to really write the things that I really need to study. Like, for example, in reading, because I don't usually read like this magazine or any articles. So I make sure that I have to read once in a while, like newspaper, all these kind of things. Listening wise, it's actually the easiest part in IELTS. But I make sure that during my break time or along the way going to work, I need to listen to podcasts, those kind of things. And the speaking wise, I think 90% that I'm in Swiss English, I really attended in that specific practice.
Okay. So it took you, so it sounds like it took you a few months to kind of get into some kind of a rhythm to in terms of your studying, correct?
Yes, correct.
Like in the beginning, it was hard to juggle the working and being your family and all of that.
Yes, it's really overwhelming. So on the third month, I saw myself writing in a piece of paper all the strategy that I need to do. Let's say in reading, I need to fill up that paper. So I will make sure that the marking criteria of the said subtest I will follow. In writing as well, I need to write the task 2 that it must be organized, must have some central idea in each paragraph, and I need to use range of linking words, those kind of things. And it's not very easy for me to do that every day. So I think I only see myself revising this kind of subtest. I think it takes 8 to 10 hours a week only. But the speaking part, I really focus on practicing. So because I know it's hard to take this band 7 in speaking. So I really focus on speaking during the time that I'm having difficulty with other subtests.
Okay. So it sounds like you were really putting together like a strategy.
Yes.
By the third month, where
Yes.
you were trying to be very much more organized in looking at the different tasks that need to be done and giving it some structure.
Yes, correct. And it was actually on the third month supposed to be, I'm going to take the examination, but it's because of the pandemic, my exam was postponed to August. So during that time, I really had a time for me to prepare. And it's actually a blessing in disguise, because that's only time that I really focus on my revision to this IELTS exam.
Okay. So, Janette, you spoke about like the timing. Obviously, as a mom and as working long hours, especially with the pandemic, very overwhelming time for so many nurses. The problem is, as everybody knows, nobody gets more time. How did you structure your time?
Actually, it's the most important thing is managing the time. I make sure that if I'm from night shift, the next day I don't have any work, I will allot my time. I think in the evening where everyone are sleeping already. Then that's the time I'm going to study. But if I'm morning shift, I will make sure that in the afternoon after my work, I will drop by in a coffee shop to at least practice 1 to 2 hours. So it's kind of really managing my time every day because I'm working in shifts. So it will depend on the work, on how to manage my time.
Okay. Because I think that's the biggest challenge that many people face today is the time management. And unfortunately, there's just no easy answer. It's not like there's a magic wand.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. It's just a matter of being organized and structuring yourself and being disciplined.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And it's not that easy, actually.
Yeah. What did you do or say to yourself on those days when you just like were tired or just didn't feel like it?
That's an interesting question because during the time, it's like I'm already burned out. I saw myself baking and listening to inspirational songs. And then if I find myself, oh, okay, I'm already feeling that I'm going to study, then I will study. So it really depends on the day, and if it's like tiring, better to be nice to yourself. Yeah, don't push so hard.
Be kind to yourself. That's
Yes.
good advice. What other advice or tips do you have for anybody watching that helped you to get through this challenging exam?
Okay, first of all, they must pray every day because prayer really helps me a lot. And then my family who are very supportive, they really motivates me a lot. My family, my relatives, my in-laws, everyone are always there for me to support me. And time management is very important. And make sure that you will allot your time to study. It's not like, okay, I have time, but you're not focused on what you're doing. It's the same thing. So you're just wasting time. So it's a matter of really focusing on what you love to do, or because IELTS is part of the requirement for every nurses. And it's not because only it is a requirement, but it also helps nurses in terms of communication skills. So whether you are excellent in academics, but communication-wise you're not that good, at the end of the day, nursing care is already affected. It's a matter of having some kind of communication barrier if you don't know how to talk to your patient. So I think IELTS plays an important role in every nurse who are going to the United States. And aside from that, what I did during that time is I wrote the paper and I paste that paper in our wardrobe for me to see it every day. So let's say I wrote the speaking marking criteria that I need to be talkative. I don't have to be, I don't have hesitations or pauses, all those things. It is posted in our wardrobe for me to remember it every day, to remind me, oh, I need to really talkative. I need to avoid errors while talking. I need to give some idioms or collocations, these kind of things, which is helpful actually. Yes.
I love that you put it on your wardrobe.
Yes, it is.
That is amazing. And that's a wonderful tip for people because then you're seeing it every single day and you kind of can't escape.
Yes, I can't escape. Yeah.
So that's a great tip. And it reminds me of one of the IELTS heroes that I spoke to a while ago. She made her password. Her password was, I think it was determined. I think it was Lisa. So that kind of reminds me of just like that little way that you can create some kind of mechanism where you are going to have, that reminder that as you wake up in the morning, IELTS.
Yes, and it's actually helpful. And while reviewing in this examination, I gained a lot of friends in Swoosh, Connetics, all referrals. A lot of people. I gain a lot of friends lately, actually, and it's very good actually for me.
So did you utilize study partners at all, Janette?
Yes, actually on the third month, I always have study partners in Swoosh, and they are from Saudi, Dubai. Everyone are very keen to study, so it's just a matter of scheduling, because there's time differences. So I need to, let's say, I need to adjust if they're going to have 12 a.m. here in in Singapore, and then they will have practice, then I will join, even though the next day I'm still morning shift. It doesn't matter as long as I can practice.
Yeah. And for anybody who has not yet joined the Connetics Swoosh free IELTS support group on Facebook, please do so. We welcome everybody. This is not just for Connetics nurses. This is for all nurses. This is just one of the ways that we want to help you. And we now have study rooms. So that if you are looking for a study partner, you can go in at almost any time and can find somebody who's going to be able to study with you and be a partner with you on any of the exercises. So please make use of that, because it's there for you.
Yes, and it's free actually. Every day, I also practicing the task that the Swoosh and Connetics is posting in Facebook, and it's very, very helpful actually, especially for me. Yeah. Very busy.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Janette, tell us about your experience with a study partner. Why is it helpful to have a study partner rather than just try and do it by yourself?
It's very important, because if my study partner will listen to my answers from part 1 to part 3, my study partner will tell me what are the flosses that I like. Let's say I have pauses, I have hesitations, all those things, which will make me realize that, next time when I will speak or I will practice speaking, I must make sure that I don't have hesitations, I don't have ums and that's my problem during my speaking practice, the ums and and I was able to get rid of that during the examination because of my speaking buddies.
So how did you get rid of that? I'm interested to know, because when I can't listen to myself on these Facebook lives because I say I'm an and I go, I hate it. How did you get rid of that? I want to know.
Yeah, it's interesting, because on the day of the examination, actually I'm sick during that day. And I just pray hard that during a speaking exam, I must get rid of ums and What I did was, because during the time I'm going to answer, every time I will tell my answer, I usually say in first of the sentence. So what I did was, I take a deep breath, then that's my then I will start my answer already. So I get rid of my ums.
What a great tip. Thank you for that. I'm going to practice that too, Janette.
Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned that you would listen to podcasts. Tell us about that.
It's in any smartphone. Then they can download any podcast. Lately, I've listened to Michelle Obama's podcast, and her diction and pronunciation is really very good. So I really love to hear her podcast, in the sense that pronunciation wise is very, very nice, and I can understand it. And I also downloaded some podcasts that are British accent, so I can compare the different accents, because I don't know who will be my examiner during that time. Yeah, so
very interesting. And I've heard from many nurses, if you download a podcast that you're interested in that topic, then it's not as difficult to listen to, because you're interested and you don't realize that you're practicing your English without even noticing.
Yes, correct. And the podcast helping us to learn some vocabs, which we Filipinos sometimes we only have very simple vocabulary. So that's why during that time I really listed all the vocabs that I haven't here actually before. So I need to learn those words, and it's really helping me. And I learned a lot actually.
Can you give us an example?
There's a word that I forgot to mention. It's like very simple one, but like endearing, this kind of things. And there's also some idiomatic expressions that like sometimes like, oh, I didn't know that this is an idiomatic expression. And it helps me a lot. So yeah.
Okay, good. Well, thank you. Those are very specific and helpful tips that I think a lot of people are going to find very encouraging and inspirational. Any final words for anybody who's watching you and is admiring your success and hoping and praying that they will be an IELTS hero soon? Any final words for them?
Okay. IELTS actually is very hard. We know that. Having speaking band 7 and above is not that easy. So it will take time for you to practice. So you must make sure that you manage your time. I know every one of us are very exhausted during this pandemic. So I think it's a matter of, squeezing a little bit of time every day. Because me, during that time, I really find hard to squeeze my time. And it's really very hard. It just happened that my exam was postponed. That's why I managed to study. But during that time, if my exam was not postponed, I don't think I will I will pass the IELTS. So aside from time management, you have to work hard. You have this perseverance. You have to focus on what you're doing, and don't forget to pray. Yeah.
Well, those are definitely wise words. Janette, you want to share with everybody what your scores were?
Oh, okay. My scores is actually not that really very high because during that time I was sick. So my listening is 6.5. The rest is 6, and my speaking was 7.5. 7.5.
Wow. So your speaking was 7.5, which is higher than what's required.
Yes.
Yes, congratulations.
I forgot the arms.
And your overall was
6.5 only.
6.5. So you did better than what was even required.
Yes, correct.
Congratulations.
And my goal is to pass IELTS once, which is
what you did.
I did. Yes.
Yeah. And that should really be the goal for everybody. Don't waste money and time by not preparing and then having to do it again and again and again. When I see that, it just breaks my heart. That's the reason why we created the free IELTS support group, because it's just so heartbreaking where people are stuck in the fear, are procrastinating, waste money on taking the IELTS, not using the tools that are at their disposal, and not being successful in an IELTS hero like Janette.
Yeah. Swoosh English already give us a lot of resources. We're not supposed to like spoon feed, but we must make sure that we help ourselves to study. And it's very if you will waste your effort if you will take another IELTS examination. You see, if you study for 3 to 4 months and then you fail the IELTS, you wasted those 4 months already.
Yeah.
So better.
And the money on the exam.
Yes, it's expensive.
Expensive, very expensive, and very depressing when you don't pass. So if you want to be an IELTS hero like Janette, congratulations, Janette.
Thank you, Ms. Tanya. Thank you for
listen to her words of wisdom. We are so proud of you, Janette. Your whole family's come on. They are so proud of you, and rightly so. And I think this process is such a difficult one that when we have these moments of success, we need to take the time to be grateful, to say thank you, you know, for getting us to this point, to God for getting us to this point, and thank you to us, to you, Janette, for sharing your story and inspiring so many people.
I would love to, and I love to help others as well to pass IELTS examination.
Well, you're doing that, Janette, right now. So thank you again. Stay safe, and we can't wait to see you in America.
Thank you.
The visa bulletin has turned very positive. We're seeing great progress. If anybody has not yet passed the NCLEX or not yet passed the IELTS, please do so right now so that you can be a success like Janette, and we hope to see you all in America soon. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks, Janette.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.